Let me tell you guys about BellyUpSports. BellyUpSports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. BellyUpSports is the premier, not your average website.
This one just frustrates the hell out of me. See Adidas mandatory jersey sponsor. I know it's not like a major thing by any means, but it does have implications for like rosters and salary and all that. The fact that the MLS as a whole, as a league, signs a blanket deal for the entire league to have these set jerseys on a set template bothers the hell out of me, because these teams don't have the ability to then go market themselves to a potential jersey sponsor and make more money to then develop and improve their roster. Inter Miami is a perfect example of this right now, where they were struggling to fill their entire 20-man roster this year because they didn't have enough salary cap to get to 18 minimum players on their roster. If you have the ability, you have Messi on your team, you go shop around to Adidas, to Nike, to Puma, to Joma, to all these other brands, and you can then take that money and turn it directly back into your team and your academy and your development of players. You can create a mini Barcelona, a mini Man City, a mini Man United heyday type of thing, where you have an actual development and a pipeline developed because you signed a $1 billion sponsorship deal. Obviously, that's a well blown out number for the MLS, but Messi can bring money in. Frank Lampard could have brought money in. David Villa could have brought money in. You know, these guys bring money in with them. Take advantage of that as the MLS, and don't cover up $50 million a year divvied up to the 29 other teams type of thing, where they don't get to use this money. Every team gets $5.3 million in salary cap because there's not an ability to add supplemental cash on the outside through sponsorships. And it's really a bigger gripe with the entire sponsorship system with the MLS. But the Adidas thing is the biggest example of it. Obviously, we've mentioned Apple TV enough. That's another piece of it. But it just frustrates me from the MLS's standpoint that they cannot and refuse to allow teams to go and develop their own cash flows for these situations. Like, yeah, if teams don't get a sponsorship deal, then okay, feed them the Adidas deal. Until they do, and until that happens, though, let them have fun. Let them go and make money somewhere. It's ridiculous.
I would love to see the arms race of all these sponsors that would come in and try to sell to these MLS markets how they would do their jerseys. I've said, and then, you mentioned that, and it was definitely one of the ones that I was going to mention as well, because I think it's ridiculous that we're now where we're at with MLS, and I mean, no offense, I think Adidas at least recently have done a really good job with kits and jerseys and all that, but yeah, it's the same template. Like, I'm tired of seeing same template, just a different color scheme in some sense. Like, I would love to see what Puma would do for one of these teams. I would love to see what Nike would do, even though Nike kits have kind of, I feel how I feel about them. But like Umbro, like, I mean, this year as well, Umbro's done a great job this year when it comes to kids.
Which is funny because they're a Nike brand, by the way.
Yeah,
still cracks me up.
But yeah, I think I've said this plenty of times. Like, I'm fine with MLS having Adidas. Like, I'm, like the soccer, the balls, the their apparel. It's fine. I'm fine with Adidas being like the sponsor for MLS. But I think, like, to give these MLS teams their own piece of their own pie, like, they have to be able to reach out to teams, because and I'll be honest with you, I know, as a matter of fact, how much money gets given to each MLS team on apparel. As someone that used to be in the working as an equipment manager, the academy alone only had $300,000 to spend for the academy. Like, if you realize how much fucking kids are in the academy, so you had to pick whether or not what's more important, that they're all wearing the same shoes or are they all wearing pants? Like, that's literally how, like, and as a matter of fact, some shites, not when I was with the equipment manager for the academy, but the head equipment manager before, he took that money and used it on the first team. So, like, so he just said, "Fuck the academy. I want," and the first team, because I know the number for the first team, at least for the Dynamo perspective, it's $600,000. That's what they get to use, and that's also to not only fit the players, staff as well. So that, just to have an idea. And you forget things. You forget things when you do these apparel orders, because then you forget I have female employees. And then you think about it, I only have one female employee. Am I about to buy a bunch of female clothes for this one woman? You know, like that. And I mean, obviously, that's not the truth. There's plenty of women that work for the Houston Dynamo, but I'm just giving an example. Whereas if you can, obviously, if the Houston Dynamo can negotiate with Puma, right, and they say we'll give you this much on the team itself and this much for staff, how much easier can that be? And I mean, that's the same thing that any other sport, how it works. Like, it's not like you have this little amount, but it's because that's just the deal that Adidas had with the league, and the league spreads that money out to the rest of the team. And obviously, this is just an apparel thing, but I mean, like, and also balls, equipment are also included in that as well. So bibs, balls, cones, you name it, that's also on that fucking order, and which is insane to me. But that's just me giving you guys a little behind the scenes stuff. I'm sure MLS will now flag me for this.
Yeah,
But
I mean, not only that, like we're getting rumors that Barcelona are going to get the biggest kit deal ever with Nike. They're going to get like $1.7 billion, $1.3 billion per season for the next I don't know how many years, until like 2039 or something like that.
And that's one team.
And that's just one team. I mean, yeah, sure, they're going to need the money because they're fucking broke. But I mean, still, could you just imagine if how much money, how much cash these companies would throw at Inter Miami right now just because they have Lionel Messi? But I mean, at the same time, I think Adidas would probably still win that because Messi's with Adidas, and all these players are with Adidas, so they'd probably win that one out anyway. But could you imagine Nike going out for LA Galaxy when they had Zlatan, or Nike going out with for Griezmann, or Griezmann and LAFC, or a Puma going for NYCFC because of the Man City connection? Do you know how much money and revenue that would bring to these clubs? And then that's more money that they can put in. It's more resources that they can put in to improve the club and improve fan atmosphere and their stadium and whatnot, and just make the league a greater experience for everybody. And then for the casual fan, they'll probably feel right at home if they're from Europe or from a different part of the world. But I mean, yeah, it's one of the things I haven't really thought about when it comes to how money and all the behind the scenes stuff affects MLS clubs. But that's insane that you only get what, 300,000 for the academy, and you have what,
more? There's more players in the first team in
exactly,
the academy.
Yeah, because the first team, you have what, maybe 25, 28 players on the roster for the entire year, and you have kids from ages 5 to what, 17, 18 maybe, and
and they're just going to keep growing. So I mean,
exactly, yeah. And plus, you get new kids every year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something for you guys. Sponsorship deal for Real Madrid right now, $120 million a year until 2028. Chelsea, $70 million a year from Nike until 2032, and Puma with Man City has $76 million a year kit supplier until 2029, which gives you and so. Unlike the MLS, Hector, did you just kind of give us the insight on where that you have to pay for all these pieces? Nike, Puma, Adidas pretty much give you a contract that says we will provide you with XYZ kits, XYZ travel gear, XYZ training gear, XYZ equipment, XYZ cleats, socks, all these branded pieces at no extra cost to you per season. And that's part of the contract deals that they sign going into the season. So that $76 million a year, none of that money is being taken out to just kit an academy kid, to kit a player at the first team, or somebody in the U17 type of levels. All of that's covered separate from that $76 million. So it's $76 million, but the actual contract value might be upwards of $200, $300, $400 million per year when you actually get into how many times they have to replace something, how many times something gets broken, the backups, the alternates, the firm grounds, the soft grounds, the turfs, all those things included, and you don't have to worry about paying for them. And that's just because you get to go out in a free market and bring more money into your team. And big fan of free market opportunities for teams because you have all the value in the world. And again, you are in 20 to 30 of the top markets in the world. And you better believe that Nike, Man City, or sorry, not Man City, Nike, Puma, Adidas, or any one of these smaller sponsors like Joma might come out, or EA7, who sponsors Napoli, might come out here with a couple $1 million in a bag and just be like, here you go. We'll kit up your whole squad. Just give us, just let us have that branding right there next to the logo. That's all we ask.
Joma would be the best sponsor for RSO for some weird reason to me. Like it just makes the most sense to me.
Under Armour would definitely come out of the woodwork for a DC area, for DC United. Like, I mean, they're DC based, they're Baltimore based. Like, why would they not sponsor DC United? And look, they have multi-billion dollars contracts with
Portland, Oregon, and Nike.
Oh, 100%. Well, what's funny, there's a whole Adidas American brand, like their main office is also in Portland. So good luck trying to figure out who's going to win that sponsorship deal. They're just going to throw money back and forth. So yeah, no, there's so many opportunities for the MLS to go out and just open the free market. Just make it a free market.
I was going to say the same thing with the like the combine and like all the college kids and like fuck a draft. Just let them hit free agency. They're all free agents. Like once they graduate, they're all free agents. If they want to take, they could take the best offer, or they could take the offer with the team that thinks that they're going to give you the most playing time and whatnot, and it's going to be better for their careers. So why not let the teams hit free agency apparent for like the manufacturers and the kits, and then they can choose what they want and what they think brings the best value to them as a club. Why not? That's literally how it's done in
everywhere
Europe.
else.
Everywhere else except for the United States. And trust me, you're in the United States. You have like the best GOP in the world. Not to like get into like all that deep stuff, but still, it's like you're in the land of like the opportunity. This is the number one like country in the world when it comes to marketing and all that. And you're telling me that you can't have companies throwing cash at you to see what offer you get the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff like that. It's like little things like that that's holding this league back.
And on top of it, there's one other piece to this jersey thing that's worth mentioning. The actual jersey sponsor itself, the revenue from that sponsorship currently gets shared in the general allocation money, Hector mentioned, to the entire league. So each team's jersey
you're telling
sponsorship,
me MD Anderson is also going to FC Dallas?
A portion of the contract goes to every team.
Well, I fucking hate that. I hate that now that my team, the Houston Dynamo, is funding FC Dallas in some fucking sense.
Everybody.
You're telling me we're getting the Austrian cans. We're getting that money, and then they're getting the money from Etihad's.
Yep.
Across the river.
Yep.
Is that why we have like Etihad like sponsorships like in all the stadiums and whatnot?
Yep. Well, no. The Etihad has the travel sponsorship for the entire MLS. So that's their travel. The MLS's featured travel partner.
Well, that just pissed me off, man. That's
So fun fact. So that's not at fault to the team or not at fault to the jersey sponsor itself. That's an MLS regulation based off when they had 16 and 12 teams. That just carried over. They just kept approving it in the CBA every year.
Yeah. So, and obviously, Kelcey, your solution is free market to the MLS teams.
Free market.
Okay. Yeah, which I agree.